His family in several houses, all congregated on the roofs of their farm, surrounded by water. But they were still waving at me, and I could wave back to them from my door in the aircraft. But then as we approach, and I'm sorry for my bad Dutch, near a place called Herzogenbosch, is that all right? We met the first flak. The aircraft came down from 1,500 feet down to about 700 feet and closed up into their drop formation. And when you're in that close formation, the aircraft, there's a lot of aircraft wash, and it's very difficult to stand up in the aircraft. But we lost, the brigade lost five aircraft shot down in the last 15 minutes of the flight. One of them was an aircraft immediately to starboard of mine, got a direct hit, and as I was standing in the door, it passed under the door, a blaze from wingtip to wingtip, and I watched it crash in a great ball of white flame. All 19 parachutists and 6 crew were killed. Of the other 4 aircraft, most of the parachutists were able to bail out before it crashed. But I must give the American pilots due value, because although they were young, inexperienced, and despite flying through this flak and seeing the aircraft shot down, as they approached the DZ, they maintained their steady flight and formation.
Okay.
Remember, you are not carrying 80 pounds. And you can imagine coming along, marching along the railway in the dark, number of swear words per mile. Right. Years ago, when we used to talk to the students of our Army Staff College here, this was nicknamed by their Commandant Chaos Corner. And I will explain why he called it Chaos Corner. Now, you were looking down onto what in 44 was LZL, and in those days there were not the trees that you see. It's a perfectly good landing zone for gliders and parachutes. And as I said right at the beginning, the 4th Parachute Brigade, whose job was to get to the north-east of Arnhem, this could have been the dropping zone, and we'd have been halfway there. But this, in the plan, was the landing zone for the gliders bringing in the Polish anti-tank guns and vehicles only. Now, as I explained, down at the tunnel, 156 Battalion with the rest of the brigade behind advanced along the railway in the dark. And as the leading company got to about a position behind you on the railway that runs into a cutting, they were ambushed by the German defenders, and they lost their leading section. By which time our brigadier had come back from divisional headquarters at the Hartenstein and ordered a halt and given out the orders for the next day, as I explained, which was for 156 to continue up in this direction to capture Lichtenbeet, press on to the outskirts of Arnhem. The 10th Battalion were to advance across the open ground behind me and to take up a position on the main Amsterdam road at the Leren Doodle. And we would then hopefully press on. Now, the new orders were given out to us along the railway, about 500 yards behind us. And the orders were that first of all, C Company would push through this wood here behind you to a point 56.5 marked on the map, a little raised area, and that would be the first bound. Now, here was another mistake made by our battalion commander, who was a very good soldier indeed, but because he was pressed by the brigadier to get on into Arnhem, some of the normal procedures of battle were skipped, in that no reconnaissance was carried out by us to see what was the other side of this wood. So duly at first light, C Company set off and came through the wood here. These trees were not here in those days, and our battalion mortars